Hello? How are you? You've definitely heard of Ozempic, Mounjaro. These weight loss pens are being used more and more by people who want a little extra help with weight control. These pens work by stimulating the secretion of a hormone called GLP-1, which is produced in our intestines. And today I'm going to tell you which foods also play a role in GLP-1. Many people need to stimulate this hormone more to increase satiety, improve gastric emptying time, and the response to insulin. And there are some foods that have a very interesting effect in this regard. I'm going to tell you about them, which ones they are. Stay until the end because you won't want to miss this. Before we start, I want to ask you if you're in the process of losing weight, and if so, how much would you like to lose? I'd love to see your comment. Remember to like the video, that's super important to me. And if you know someone who could benefit from this video, go ahead and share it. Let's expand our chain of good, because that's what I want here on the channel. You may have already heard of the term GLP-1 because it's very popular right now. In the past, it was a more scientific term, known only to those in the healthcare field. Nowadays, we know a lot about it. Because of these medications, such as Ozempic, Mounjaro, these slimming pens, which act on this hormonal system, and they help to popularize that term. But it's important for us to make it clear here in the video that GLP-1 is not a medication. The medications are Ozempic and Mounjaro. GLP-1 is a natural hormone that is produced in our intestines right after meals. And GLP-1 has three main functions. Let's say, first, it sends a satiety signal to our brain, helping to reduce appetite. Second, it helps slow down gastric emptying, meaning the food stays there longer. And it gives a prolonged feeling of a fuller stomach, more satiety. And third, it can help with insulin control, right? It improves the insulin response, which contributes to more stable blood sugar control, which is good, even for our overall health. So, when this system works well, hunger becomes more predictable, and appetite spikes and food control become easier. So we are able to have better control over how to choose foods and also make good choices regarding quantities. This can also significantly help in the weight loss process. These medications, the weight loss pens, are prescription drugs and should be used under a doctor's supervision, right? A doctor who has evaluated you personally, seen that you have a need, and will determine the best dose for you. And of course, these foods are not going to exactly replace the medication. That's not the point of this video. It's just to talk about foods that can naturally stimulate this hormone, though obviously in ways that are quite different from medication, which would have a more direct effect. We know that there are some everyday foods that have already been studied for some time because of their ability to indirectly stimulate satiety hormones, especially when we manage to combine them correctly. The first food on our list is a tea, an infusion, which is green tea. Green tea has been used for thousands of years, right? Mainly by Eastern peoples for its various health benefits. But more recently, it has been studied because of its bioactive compounds, such as EGCG, which is being widely researched for its association with energy metabolism, increased fat oxidation, and improved insulin sensitivity. So, within an appropriate dietary context, it can contribute to better appetite control. It also helps with weight control in a complementary way. Normally, to make green tea, we use a teaspoon of the tea leaves, right? For 1 cup of boiling water. You mix the two and wait about 15 minutes for the infusion to happen, right? Let the exchange take place, strain it, and you can drink it right after. The second food on our list is protein sources, and I personally really like whey protein. Whey protein is a source of protein with extremely high biological value. And since it's a food, let's say a protein dietary supplement, what you really get there is basically just protein. Protein is one of the most important nutrients when we think about satiety because it stimulates those gut hormones related to appetite control, the GLP-1, as I mentioned to you, and helps preserve muscle mass during the weight loss process. Many people who are in the process of losing weight are in catabolism, right? Because of the calorie deficit, because of excessive physical activity, they can end up losing muscle mass. And when you consume protein, you prevent that loss. It also helps reduce hunger between meals, which is super important if you need more satiety. And this effect is especially relevant for those people who feel hungry right after eating, you know? Normally, a recommended serving of protein, of whey protein, is 1 scoop, 1 dose. So that dose will already provide us with a pretty good amount of protein and can be a great option for this drink. Another really interesting food is psyllium. I already have many videos here on the channel talking about the various beneficial effects of psyllium for our health. We know that psyllium can help control cholesterol, increase satiety, and regulate blood sugar. And it's very interesting nutritionally because it's a soluble fiber. It's highly absorbent in terms of liquid. So when it comes into contact with liquid, it forms a gel in our stomach, and this gel slows down digestion, making the digestive process much slower. It gives you a prolonged and early feeling of fullness, right? Because when you take psyllium, boom, your stomach swells up, you know? In simpler terms, since it takes longer, it helps you stay full for a longer period. This also helps with intestinal function. We know that many people who are in the process of losing weight end up experiencing constipation or even slower bowel movements because they eat a smaller volume of food, right? So it helps in that regard. It also prevents constipation, even helps to treat it, and aids in glycemic control. The longer the food stays there, in our stomach, the more slowly it moves, from the stomach to the intestine, from the intestine to the bloodstream. And this also helps in a complementary way, which is very interesting. This physical effect of psyllium really helps control hunger throughout the day, and this effect can be prolonged, as I mentioned to you. And usually, a good dose of psyllium to add to a drink is 1 teaspoon. It's very little, especially because, as I told you, it greatly increases water absorption, right? In fact, it has the ability to absorb a lot of water, so it gels very quickly, and just a small amount already has a significant effect. Always remember that if you add psyllium to your diet, you should also drink plenty of water throughout the day, because fiber needs a lot of water to work properly. There are also other foods, spices, that can provide very important metabolic support, like turmeric and cinnamon. Small amounts of them can be included as functional support. It's very interesting because we already know that these spices are being studied for their ability to help modulate inflammation in our bodies, which can be related to weight loss, supporting insulin sensitivity, which once again is also related to hunger spikes, right? Those sudden cravings, really, and they can help with controlling those spikes. With controlling glycemic spikes, so adding a pinch of cinnamon or turmeric to this drink can also be quite interesting. So if you want, you can use these foods separately, choose one or the other, or even make a drink with all of them, which actually goes well together. You can use green tea as a base. That 1 cup of green tea that you made, I suggest you use it chilled and then blend it with whey protein, blend it with psyllium, with turmeric, with cinnamon. It turns into something like a shake, and it's delicious and can be a great addition to your breakfast or your afternoon snack. Depending on your needs, it can be a complete meal or just a supplement, right? It will always vary. And it can be a great strategy if you're someone, for example, who feels very hungry at night after dinner or even before dinner, and you want to have a snack that's more, that has more substance, that gives you more satiety, more protein to help you eat less at night. So ideally, you should choose to have this drink close to the time when you usually feel hungriest, and no one knows that better than you. Remember that expectations should always be realistic, right? While we can't exactly draw a direct comparison between this beverage and medication, it can indeed help to significantly improve feelings of satiety, overall energy levels, metabolic rate, and healthy blood sugar control in a complementary way. In other words, it's not going to work miracles. There's no point in drinking one of these shakes a day and thinking you can eat a bunch of ultra-processed foods, pizza, a box of chocolates, a tub of ice cream, and still get the beneficial effects. You will need to have a balanced, proper diet, exercise, and get good sleep. Remember that the weight loss process is a holistic one, where we need to change our eating habits so that this change can actually be sustainable. If you're unsure whether this drink fits your lifestyle, or if you have any health concerns, if you are unsure whether you should drink it or not, always talk to the professional who takes care of you in your city, your doctor, your nutritionist. Remember that this video is for informational purposes only. So tell me, at what time would you drink this beverage? I'd love to see your comment. And leave a like on the video, it really helps me out. If you know someone who might like it and benefit as well, let's expand our chain of kindness, you and me. That's what I want here with the channel. See you next time. Bye.